Hey, hey, here we are. How about that? Glad to be here this afternoon. I don't know if we're going to get people on here, but welcome to the chat. So far, we have two people. Um, Manuel, welcome. Glad to see you're here. Uh, this is going to be a little irregular, but here we are, and just the discussion about where are we headed. Um, as far as DT, I am still going to be on DT, and I'm hoping that MLH shows up. Then, hello, how are you? I'm glad that you're here. Is that the correct pronunciation of your name? No, Sign, right? SYN. I think that's how we pronounce it. I'm not quite sure, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. And I don't know how many other people are going to show up. I've been out of the loop. Protest got me hooked. Oh yeah. Okay, Sin. Okay, makes sense. We will call you Sin then. Um, my I'm using Nami because it seems like MLH and everybody else has adapted that name, either that or it's Nam, and because when I use the word Namfic, people scratch their heads and go, "Wait a minute, what kind of a name is that?" But um, I was just going to have probably some people come up on chat and discuss where we're going, and what I mean by that is, I've seen so much up to now since I'm 71, and I want to get. Hey, Jackie, thanks for coming in. Um, I'm glad that you guys are here. I, I originally didn't want to do this, but MLH, him and his persuasive powers, decided to talk me into it. And I said, well, I'm going to have to scratch my head for a while to come up with something that people will be interested in listening to. And I guess it's to give him a little break. And I want him to get on here too, um, because he does have some real good views about things, more than I do. Of course, there's a little bit of an age difference. Everybody knows I'm 71, and I'm not afraid to say it because I've lived this long, And that's a challenge in itself, especially with everything that's going on in the world. And health wise, I'm doing pretty good. And yes, he is a very smart man. Um, Jackie, glad to see you're here. And it's I do, and here's how I look at opinions, and you guys can differ if you want, but opinions are like our expressions of how we feel about certain things, not necessarily standing up and saying, damn right, and I'm going to die for it. I think opinions are just thoughts that go through our heads about things that go on in life. And I, being the age that I am, have found that it's much easier to listen to opinions and thoughts from other people rather than to say, hey, I'm right, you're wrong. And I won't mention any names because we're not going to go there. But um, to view our feelings and stuff like that, I think everyone is entitled to it because we're human. And I keep bringing that up on MLH's channel. And I have been bestowed deeply by my parents about humanity and how people should treat each other. And I'm one of those advocates that if I see, and this is the reason I'll explain to you guys. Um, Please forgive me if I bounce around from subject to subject and stuff like that, because sometimes I say a word and I go, oh yeah, I want to think, or I want to talk about this. But what started me with the deal with Man Bear was when he first came toward LA. I mean, I saw him in the other things, but when he came and started treating people the way that he did, it just ticked me off to no end. And he thought he had the right to stand and scream and yell at people. And it's one thing to voice your opinion, but to tell people that they're low lives and they're just the scum of the earth and everything else like that. You just don't walk up to people and say that. People were trying to remove some homeless people. I believe that homeless people have a right to live in this world, but they don't need the right to be entitled. In other words, if you are homeless, ask for help. Don't take it to the point where you believe that you have to be helped. Okay. Because when I grew up, I'll tell you guys this right now. 2 weeks out of high school, I was working. And my dad made sure of that. First, he asked me if I wanted to go to college. I said, hey, I would love to go to college. And he said, good, get a job. So much for college. And he didn't do it to be mean. What he did was he did it to show me that if I earned the money, that when if I did go to college, that I would definitely appreciate the fact that it came out of my pocket, and I would definitely want to get my money's worth and study, not take advantage of somebody giving me money and just blowing it. So I never did go to college, but with when Scott, here I go saying it, and I'm going to say it. I know MLH has reservations about people saying his name on their channel, but I will say Scott, but I'm not going to mention any other names because everybody knows who I'm talking about. And it's MLH got me into it, or I shouldn't say he got me into his channel, but he did not get me into the part of how I felt about that person, because he was mistreating people from the get-go. and put himself up on a pedestal. And I guess, and this is my opinion. And what I want to do is I want to have some of you people come up on panel if you're honest and uh, you can watch your language and stuff like that. I'm going to trust you people because you people have been on MLH's chat, and I want to bring you guys up and hear your views. I mean, it's one thing to sit and see the type, but I think if you want to come up, let me know. As long as we can keep it on uh, a relative uh, good platform and not like I've seen platforms that people every other word they have to swear and they have to come forward and make some real ridiculous comments. But if you guys want to come up, I'm willing to let you guys come up and voice your opinions. If you have something that you want to talk about, that's fine, as long as you don't drag in the laundry from other channels, because that's one thing that I don't want to do is other channels have their opinions and the way they are. Um, I do like some channels, not completely because of their views, but the common interest that some of the people and I have, like Jojo is into music, and I would love to have him come up and talk about music with me. And I would also, I know this is going to go, oh my God, you want him up there with you, is talk to AZ. Now, we use the same music program at some point, and he uses other music, but I want to see what his views are as far as music. Now, I don't know how many musicians we have in out there, but if you're a musician, man, I love talking music because I've been into it since 1970 when I first learned how to play the bass guitar. And I want to hear if people are what they're, excuse me, I don't have anything to drink it. So I've got to probably get me a glass of water here in a minute. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about music, about your hobbies and stuff like that, and get you up here and make it a good place and a safe place. And I don't want to talk about the other channel right now that I'm associated with, because this is a different channel and we're going to do things a little different. So it's not that I'm not going to be on there. I will be, and I will be voicing my opinions and coming up with my views as far as what is going to happen on there when I'm asked. But I don't know how old you people are, but like I said, I'm 71. So, and to me, it doesn't make any difference. You could be 20, you could be 50, you could be older than me, and you're welcome here because um, we have to realize that we start off young and we get older, and we want to also be accepted by older people and younger people. And I'll tell you something that's really, really, really funny. I'd love to go karaoke. I really do. I enjoy it. It gives me something to do, and the people that I go with, we have a blast. We really do. And you get to listen to some of the good singers, and you get to listen to some of the bad singers. But for the most part, it's fun to get up on stage, and it's terrifying to a degree, but it is fun. And we at my age, it's really neat the places, the two places that I go to. The younger people are accepting and very, very warm toward the older people, which is really, really cool because they know that sometime they're going to be where we are and they're going to want to be accepted the same way that they accept us, the older people. So, but we have fun. And I don't know if anybody else likes to go karaoke, but I enjoy it. It keeps me young. I play video games. My favorite game is The Division. I don't know if anybody else plays The Division. And if you guys want to talk, please type something. I don't want to sit here and just yap away. I want to hear what you guys have to say too. If you want to get up here on panel with me, let me know. I'll bring you up, and if you want to talk about something, then we can. And so I don't know what anybody else has to say. Yeah, Sin, I'm going to be turning 72 November 5th, so I'm not that far behind you, and it's really cool that we made it this far because we have seen a lot of things in our lives, and I don't. Sometimes the younger people don't realize how much they're going to be in to seeing when it happens, when they get older, like us. They're going to see so much change in the world. It's hopefully the world will be around, because every time I turn on the news, I hear something about some country blowing up another country, and people, the stabbings and the shootings and everything else. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, humanity is in for a big shocker, because it's changing really uh, drastically. And I don't know if anybody else agrees, but Sin, I don't know if you realize that how much has changed in your life. And what I'd like to do, Sin, would you like to come up on panel? I would love to have you up here and have somebody close to my age uh, be able to sit and reminisce about the things that were and where we're headed in the future. If you would like to, I would love to have you come up here. Just let me know and I can bring you up. And now I'm not saying that anybody else couldn't come up, but uh, Sin confessed to her sins. That was bad. And admitted her age, which um, I tell you what, it's good. Oh, I tell you what, Sin, it when I first started doing this, it scared the daylights out of me because I thought, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? People are going to hear me and they're going to know what I sound like. So what? Right now, you and I are at that age that if people don't want to listen to us, we're not going to tell them to go away. But if they feel that what we're saying is something that they don't want to listen to, well, they're more than welcome to leave. And if they want to come back to see if the subject has changed, but yes, I would love to have you up here on panel with me and show people that, you know, um, I'm going to. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember how to do this now. Um, let's see. I'm wondering if I have to. Do. Try to get you up on panel. I think I have to send you, or I got to put the link up. I think that's what I have to do, or post the link. Let's see.
I don't know. See, this is the thing that you guys, I'm like, yeah, I'm on my Android pad right now, my Samsung, but I could still bring you up. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to see. Gosh, MLH, where are you when I need you? Let me see if I can do this from another way. Let's see. Hold, everybody, hang on to your shirts and everything. I'm going to see if I can come up where I disappeared, didn't I? Sorry about that, people, but I'm back. So if you want to come up here, just hit on that link and it should tell me if you are there. And I'm more than glad to bring you up here with me. There's a little bit of a delay between my pad and my telephone. So I'll try to bring you up there, and hopefully I sent you the right. Can you see that can everybody see that on the chat where I posted that? Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay. I think I invited you. Sin, are you up here yet? I think I got you up here. Okay, there we go. I think I got you up here this time, Sin.
Yeah, and I did say that I do not want to speak of that person.
Speak to which person?
Of that person.
Oh, of that person. Yes. We'll save that for tomorrow and leave that at that. I'm hoping that MLH shows up. You know, yeah, okay, let me ask you, how much stuff have you noticed that from your teens up to now has changed?
Oh, good Lord. I can't even imagine to be able to say that. First of all,
Uh-huh.
we take care of my 96-year-old mother,
Oh my gosh.
and she lives with us, and she gets around pretty good.
Hmm.
I never thought that I would have to be doing this at my age. I thought I'd be out perusing and
Enjoying
doing
life. Yeah.
in a motorhome and
Well, I tell you what, I drove bus for 20 years and I had somebody say to me, so now that you've retired, are you going to get in a motorhome and go across the country? And I looked at them and I said, are you nuts? I just drove a bus for 20 years. Do you think I want to get into a motorhome and take a vacation across the US? No. If I'm going to take a vacation, I'm going to go to the airport, get me a ticket, get on a plane, get to where I have to go, and enjoy myself.
no, see now we had a motorhome. We just moved in 2018 to where we are now, and
Uh-huh.
we had a motorhome before that, and we actually gave it to a good friend.
Did you really? I,
And I miss it so much; it's unbelievable because I just loved being in it. And
Well, yes, don't get me wrong. I mean, when I was younger, I had started off with a tent trailer, went from a tent trailer to a uh, like a pickup with a topper on it.
yeah, camper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
that,
I just got rid of my pickup truck last year. My son and I did. My dad bought it brand new in 1968. I used to show it,
uh-huh.
and it's been in the family the whole time. And I get
So
first
what do
place
you
with it.
do? Okay.
I'm retired. I don't do nothing. Well, besides
Well, I mean,
take care of my
now,
mom.
yeah, you take care of your mom, but I'm sure you've got some things that you do, right?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Do you go out karaokeing at all?
No, never
Really?
have done that. No,
Oh my gosh.
but
I took
we like to go dancing.
uh-huh.
Before we moved where we're at now, we used to go on Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night to the senior halls and go dancing.
Oh, yeah, I was never really a dancer.
Uh,
Once in a while I will slow dance,
mhm.
but most of the time I was in a band. I
Oh,
was in a I was in a rock band for 13 years back in the Midwest,
what'd you play?
and we were a cover band. What we did is a lot of cover tunes: Styx, Foreigner, Loverboy, Rod
Mm.
Stewart,
Oh yeah.
Brian Adams, just all of those good songs that you like to hear.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you what, I enjoyed myself so much being up on stage. It was not only that I loved music, but I loved seeing the people dance. And
Mhm.
there was four of us in the group, and we had this thing that people followed us around because the songs that we played were songs, they weren't real headbanging type stuff like there is now. And we enjoyed watching the people, you know, get close to the stage and put their thumbs up and give us the rock sign, and really having a good time. And the bar owners loved our band because when we got those people up dancing, that was the main thing they wanted us to do. Because what
Mhm.
happens when people get up and dance? They
I
get,
when I was growing up, my dad had a bar, and
oh, really?
yeah.
So did he have bands in his bar also?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Did
He
he?
had I don't even know if I should say this. He had topless dancers.
He had what?
Topless dancers.
Okay.
And
Well,
he had
hey.
personal female impersonators out of San Francisco.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow. Sort of like the birdcage thing with
Well,
Robin Williams.
well, well, we were actually in Northern California in a small town,
Uh-huh.
and the people in the small town didn't really appreciate it too much
Oh, really?
because, yeah, and so my dad let the bar go, and but he had it for 4 or 5 years.
Uh,
And the girls that came to dance, my dad had a couple of studio apartments in the back behind the bar, and they came out of San Francisco, and they'd come up for the weekend and dance at the bar.
wow. Twyla, I just wanted to answer her here. I don't know the Brat Stop. Um, we played 5 states, basically, Wisconsin and the states close around Wisconsin, Minnesota and Illinois and Michigan and Ohio, and it was fun. We had a good time and did that for 13 years. And I tell you, I truly know what they meant by when they say starving musician, because it is in Wisconsin. I'm trying to think where that's at. Now we played Madison, we played Baraboo, we played down close to Naperville in Illinois. Um, I'm trying to think of some of the places that we played. We played a place in Madison called the Shuffle Inn, and that was a nice club that we played. We got a good response there, but we never played any topless bars, so to speak.
Oh,
but
jeez.
but I will tell you a situation that I had that I was pretty proud of myself, because we had a girl get up on stage that wasn't supposed to be up on stage. Our sound man wasn't paying attention, and she snuck up from behind and got up around the amplifiers and came out and stood and was dancing toward the audience as we were doing a tune. And naturally, I'm doing the lead part, doing the lead singing, I should say. And she turned around and she had this tie type shirt on and decided that she was going to give me a view. And with her back to the audience, opened up her shirt. Naturally, she didn't have anything on but a smile underneath. And my thought was like, don't screw up the words. Don't screw up the words. You can do this. You can do this. And the minute I thought that, the words coming out of my mouth were like, say in it. And I turned around and I looked at the keyboard player and I just shook my head, and he started laughing. And this girl naturally covered herself back up, and she smiled at all of us on stage and went off the stage when the sound man came up finally and got her off. But I couldn't believe that here's all these people out there dancing and they're not distracting me. And then she gets up on stage and does this. And I'm like, I just had the biggest brain fart that ever existed. And, but I got through it. Everybody laughed, and it was funny. So when he had the bar, did you go in there much, or were you like, well, that's my dad's place, I'm going someplace else?
No, I wasn't old enough. I was in the seventh,
Oh,
eighth, ninth, 10th grade.
okay.
Yeah. The only thing I did was I could go in the back room and my dad would bring me a soda, because we had horses and everything, and I'd ride the horse up to the bar.
Oh, so you were
Me and
pretty
my
much out in the
friends.
country?
Yeah, up in Northern
Okay.
California.
Ah, okay.
And my dad would bring us all the soda at the back bar, at the back room.
Uh-huh.
And then he also had a travel people would ride the bus, the gambling buses to Reno.
Yep. Yep.
And I'd sit back there and take reservations on the phone for him and stuff like
Oh,
that.
well, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tell you what, things have changed so much. Now, I don't know about where you're at, but when I was back in Wisconsin, it was they had the strip clubs, and then they had the topless bars. You know, the bartender usually was topless in that, but there were people that came in there, and they some of them were decent people. They, you know, they were married and all that was their bar for so many years. And then the topless came in and that didn't change anything. Their wives and girlfriends and mothers and fathers didn't care that they went in there because it's the human anatomy and it's how we think about the human anatomy that gets us into trouble.
Yeah.
You know, it's like looking at a nude by Van Gogh or Da Vinci. If you look at it in a perspective of the shapes and the colors and everything like it's supposed to be interpreted, then you're fine. But when you get that little nasty section of your brain working and you
Absolutely.
start smiling, people look at you like, okay, we know what he's thinking. Or
Well,
she's thinking.
one of the ladies danced with a boa constrictor.
Oh, that
And
must have been exciting.
one of the fellas that came down out of the lumber camp where he hauled lumber on the truck, you know,
Uh-huh.
they got to be friendly and they ended up getting married, and they got married in my dad's bar, and the mayor of
Uh-huh.
the small town came and they closed the whole bar and decorated it and everything, and they got
Wow.
married there. Yeah, so it's you know, just little stuff. And
Uh-huh.
before we moved up there, I was we belonged to a water ski club in the Bay Area,
Uh-huh.
and we used to ski, all water ski all the time. And so that was, you know, that's what we did all the time on the weekends, and we'd go water skiing, camping, and
Yeah.
I used to slalom ski when I was
Yep.
younger.
Yeah, I learned how to ski up on Mount Hood in Oregon.
Okay.
And that was back when I was in high school. I graduated from Hillsborough High School.
What year did you graduate? 71?
72.
Oh, I graduated 71. Yeah.
And what happened to me is that I had my father was working for the phone company. And you're chuckling. Uh-oh.
That's what I did fresh out of high school. As I worked for the phone company.
Oh, don't tell me you worked for Bell. Please don't tell me you worked for Bell.
Actually, in a roundabout way, Western Electric supplied all the.
Yes.
That's who I worked for.
I worked for General Telephone.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was working for Western Electric and Pac Bell when the
Oh, yeah.
Princess phone came out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed doing it, but then it was one of those things that my dad meant a lot to me, and he helped me get the job naturally. He pulled some strings. And back then it was, you know, if you could help somebody's, they knew oh, what's the word I want to say? They knew that my dad's background, he was a reputable man. And they figured if he was that type of person, that his kids probably grew up the same way. And back then, you pretty much grew up the right way that your parents wanted you to, because you listened to them.
Exactly. Mhm.
And if you didn't listen, you got into trouble, and they would have to sit down and explain things. And I'm sure you've probably heard the expression, "This is going to hurt me more than it does you." When it came to,
I didn't get in trouble. Now, come on.
oh, okay, well, yeah, back then, actually, girls did not get in that much trouble. Uh, because their mothers had them busy in the kitchen helping them. And girls learned a lot from their mothers, how to sew, how to crochet. I don't know what your mother taught you, but both of my sisters learned a lot of things from my mother. And my sister, well, she went through and got her nursing degree later on. She became an RN and was very, very successful at it because they had her. Oh, she was in the operating room, and she was also head of the nurses, teaching them new uh, methods of what to do and how to do it correctly without
Right.
getting in the doctor's way. And so but she's retired also now. But so with you in high school, how did it go with you in high school? Were you a pretty good student, or?
Yeah. Like I said, I was 2 weeks out of high school and I started working at Western Electric, and
Uh-huh.
I worked there until I had my first child, and he's 49 now.
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah,
um, yeah,
I
so
never ended up having children.
mm,
I was married twice, but it never worked out. And I won't go into the details about what happened, but um,
my first marriage was 27 years,
wow,
and then I
now
got a
that's a long
divorce,
time.
and then
Yeah.
now I'm with somebody, and we've been together 25 years, married 5.
Candy strippers. I'm looking at what Twyla said.
Oh, Candy Striper
Uh,
at the
Oh, Candy
hospital.
Striper. Oh, God. I can see I don't have my glasses on. Candy Strippers.
Candy
Okay.
Strippers.
Yes. Candy Stripers. Yeah, I think they worked along with the LPNs, which is the licensed practical nurse. I don't know if they were,
LVN, licensed vocational nurse.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
They ran a lot of errands and stuff like that.
hey, Denise, glad to see you're here. I'm trying to have a conversation and keep everybody interested. What we're doing is I managed to get Sin up here with me, and we're talking about our younger years, when
Reminiscing the past.
you're reminiscing the past, because some of the past that we go through is good, and then there are times that we don't want to remember things. And to me, I have a lot of things to be thankful for. I mean, I made mistakes after mistakes, and if I would have only known now what I know then, no, if I would have known then what I know
What you
now,
know now.
excuse me. Yes. I had to think about that in a second. Uh, oh, it would be a lot different, a lot different.
Well, I think that goes for all of us, really. I mean, that's a pretty much a given, I think.
Yeah. When we make mistakes, we try not to make the same mistake. But for some reason or another, we find ourselves in a situation and we go, this seems awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Have I done this before? And then you realized, oh yeah, I did. I had that go through my mind a lot when I was driving my car, trying to do things I shouldn't have been doing. I had a '55 Chevy, and it was a beautiful car. And the problem I had was my foot didn't think on the same pattern as my brain did.
Uh-oh.
It acted on its own. So when I seen a green light, it was like it stepped on the gas and didn't realize that it didn't have to step down that hard. And I would end up having police pull me over and said, "You left that intersection pretty." It wasn't that I was speeding. It was, I think they called it aggressive.
Exhibition of speed.
I think they called it aggressive driving
Oh, yeah.
back then,
Mhm.
or showboating or whatever they wanted to
Yep,
call it.
yep.
And they would pull me over and, walk up and shake their head and say my name and say, "How many times do we have to tell you, put something underneath that gas pedal so you don't push down as far?"
A wooden block under it instead of on top of it.
Yes, yes. Well, a wooden block wouldn't have really worked that well because you would have got, if you would have had to wanted to accelerate to pass, it would have been harder. But they wanted me
I
to
know.
put something like a spring. So
Mhm.
when I pushed down, it was harder to push, you know. So I would push down on the spring a lot easier and get used to it. Then they said after you get used to it, then you can take the spring out or use a piece of foam, something that would collapse as you were pushing down on it. Oh, Janet, glad to see
Did
you in
have
here.
that in high school or after?
I had that after high school. And I'll tell you that, and this is the honest to God's truth. My first car, Janet, I'm glad that you are in there. And
Janet.
Sin is up here with me, and we're just reminiscing and talking about old times and stuff. But what happened was my father said to me, he says, "Well, you're a junior and you don't need to take the bus anymore." So, which was the school bus. And he said, "So we're going to get you a car. It's not going to be inexpensive, blah, blah, blah." And I had some money that I was doing the field type jobs, like picking strawberries and carrying the buckets and working on a farm for a farmer, milking cows and stuff. So I was earning some money when I was still in high school. And it was good labor, good hard labor for me, because then I learned how to stay in shape, and I was helping older people, and it made me feel good that I was doing those things. Not everybody was old when they had a farm, but there was a German farmer that I helped. But anyway, my first car, believe it or not, I was sitting in the living room and I heard something in the driveway, and I went outside, and here my dad gets out of this car, and I just stood there with my jaw dropped almost to the ground. It was a 1962 pink Rambler
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good
four
Lord.
door, and it had the bench seat, the split bench seat in the front, and a bench seat in the back. 4 doors, 6-cylinder. In order to start it, you had to turn the key and push the neutral to get it to start.
Oh, jeez.
And I looked at him and I said, "I'll take the bus." He says, "No, no, no." He says, "You're going to like it. Really. Look, it's just so it's pink. It doesn't mean anything." And I thought, oh, I can just see the first day me pulling into high school. Well, my fears were right there up in my throat as I pulled in the parking lot. There were 2 parking lots. There was one for the teachers and then one for the students, because the teachers knew, don't put the students anywhere near your car because it's going to get scratched and dented, and the kids aren't going to tell you who did it. So they put them in their own, own lot, and the students had their own lot. So as I'm driving in, here's 6 or 7 of my buddies standing at the gate
Oh, good Lord.
going in, and everyone looked, and their mouths were like, "What the and I won't repeat, but they had that look on their face, and then they realized who was driving, and that's when the laughter started. I don't think I could have gotten any lower in that car and still be able to see. I looked like a little old Asian woman driving one of those great big cars with looking through the steering wheel. Have you ever seen the grandmother Asian people when they're driving? You see the hands up on the top of the steering wheel and this little thing looking between the steering wheel and the dash
And the horn. Yeah.
and
Oh,
the horn. Yeah, yeah. So here I pull in, and these guys are just. Yes, I did. Denise, I did live in Wisconsin. Um, I lived in when I first moved there. I lived in Sun Prairie. I lived in Madison. I lived in Baraboo. I lived in Wisconsin Dells, which was the biggest tourist trap, and we would make fun of the people coming up from Chicago, because I don't know if anybody remembers going from Wisconsin down into Chicago, but they had all those toll booths, and they would steal your money every so far on the roads. I mean, they had beautiful roads, but you had to put money in at the toll booth until you got down to Chicago. And I think when I drove down on the main road, it was like, oh gosh, there had to have been at least 8 toll booths, and you were putting money in those toll booths. And and when they came up to Wisconsin Dells, we laughed, because not only did they have to go through their own toll booths to go north, but once they got up there, it was the biggest tourist town. And oh my gosh, the people would spend so much money up there. But anyway, getting back to my story, I went into the parking lot, and the guys were just laughing so hard. And I tried to pull as far away from them as I could. And I did manage to get far enough away, and I got out of the car, and I started walking across the parking lot, and they yelled my last name, which I'm not going to say right now. And I turned around and looked the other direction, and they just were laughing so hard. And I thought, oh, this is embarrassing. And the girls that saw me pull in came walking by and said, "We like your car. It's cute.
Cute.
It's cute." And I'm thinking, okay, well, classes, there were people talking about my adventure coming in with the pink Rambler. By the time the end of school came around, I had probably, let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 girls that had asked me if I could give them a ride home. And I looked at them and I said, "Do you know I'm driving a pink Rambler?" And all of them smiled and said, "Yeah, we know. We want that. We want to get a ride in that, because it is so neat."
It's so
I thought to myself, yeah, and cute. And I went, okay, let's see where this goes. And so the end of the period came at the last period, and I met them as I was walking out from the school out into the parking lot, and they all caught up with me. And I said, "I'm not going to say who's going to sit where. We'll let you guys decide." And right away, a girl's shotgun, right away. That's fine. And the other girl said, "Okay, we'll sit in the back." They did. And as I'm pulling out, the same guys that they were waiting for me, the same guys were waiting at the gate. And as I pulled out, no sound at all came out of their mouths. Their mouths were just open wide, and no fingers, no nothing, pointing at me. Their heads turned as I drove by and saw 4 girls in my
They were
car.
drooling.
Oh, the best part is not, and yeah, I took the girls all home, got a date with one of them. She asked if I wanted to take her out. And I said, well, we hardly know each other. She says, well, that's how you get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So I got a date. The first time I took somebody in that pink car because they were really impressed with it. And the next day I came to school. I was by myself, drove in, and I got my arm up on the side of the window, rolled down and holding on to the wheel with one hand. And the same guys were standing there. And one guy stepped out in front of my car and almost got hit. I had to slam the brakes on quick. Of course, you were only doing 10 miles an hour anyway. And a couple of guys came up to the window and said, "Hey," and said my name. And do you think by chance we could borrow your car sometime? And I looked at him and I said, "Come on, guys, this is a chick magnet. If you want to use this car," and I held my hand out and I started rubbing my thumb against my fingers, like, let me see the money,
Yeah.
and I'll think about it. And these guys are like, "What? You're going to charge us to use your car?" I said, "You damn right I am." Well, it went on, and my mother, God bless her soul, she decided the seats in my car were starting to rat up at there was vinyl, then there was the seat, which is cloth, and then the bench part, and then it was the vinyl again on the bottom part. Well, it was starting to fray. So my mom, in the goodness of her heart, and I can't blame her for doing it, is she decided she was going to help reupholster my car.
Oh no. Okay.
Now, what do you think could be the worst thing that a parent could do to your car other than well, let me put it this way. She didn't tell me about it. And that was the first thing that she did. She was going to surprise me. And she did. Oh my gosh. I ended up going outside after she said she was done. And she opened the door. And I just stood there and I shook my head and I said, "My God, what did you do?" She went. Now, terry cloth, I'm sure that every woman knows what terry cloth is. Terry cloth is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff that that towels were generally made of. And you could make house robes and other things, and make your own towels if you were good at the sewing machine. Well, she took terry cloth and she cut it and stitched it onto the seats. And she did a fantastic job. The only problem is the terry cloth that she got, get this, a white background with green stems, white flowers, and yellow centers. They were daisies.
Oh, good Lord.
And it wasn't just one or two daisies. I mean, this whole thing had daisies all over it. And I'm shaking my head and I said, "Did you do the back seat?" And about that time, she pulled my hand and said, "Isn't that nice? Now, when you're sitting in it, you won't get all sweaty and it'll absorb." Mom, I don't know how to thank you. And I said, it's really, really special because I did not want to hurt her feelings. Because I knew if I would have said something, she would have smacked me
and said, next time you do it yourself. So, yeah, but that was not the worst part. We shut the doors, and the next day I get into the car, turn the key, and I went to adjust the visor because the sun was going to be in my eyes the minute I pulled out of the driveway of my parents' house. I put down the visor, and as I did, I'm looking up, and oh my God, the second treat came. She had leftover terry cloth, and the ceiling was I can't remember what they called it. But it was like a hard fiberboard type ceiling, and it
Yeah.
had designs on it. She took leftover cloth from the seats and cut out tediously cut out the stems, the flowers,
Oh,
and the centers. And you're not going to, I think you have a good idea of where she put those
mm-hmm.
on the ceiling and glued them. And she used good glue because they never did come off the whole time that I drove the car. And she put probably 15 flowers up there. And I felt like if I was to be drinking a beer or anything, I would have got sick to my stomach because the seats and the ceiling were daisies, bright daisies. And, but that only added to the appeal of the car. Because when the girls found out that it not only was pink on the outside, but it had daisies on the inside, I actually found out that there were two girls that got into an argument about who was going to sit up in the front seat next to me. And I just shook my head and I went, wow, I wonder if that's where they came up with that saying, simple things for simple minds. To see something simple like terry cloth on the inside and pink on the outside, I couldn't believe that it was working so well.
Jeez.
But yeah, my 55 came after my Chevy or my Rambler, and I believe it was called a Nash.
Yeah, Little Nash Rambler. Remember that song?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And was that the one that went
Beep,
beep beep beep
Yep.
beep?
Little Nash Rambler.
Yeah. I can't remember all the words, but yeah,
I can't
that was a good.
either, so.
So,
Know what I got for graduation?
uh-huh.
A 63 Chevy Impala Super Sport with chrome
Ooh,
reverse
nice
rims
car.
and baby moons.
Oh gosh. That I think that was the best thing that they could put on a car was baby moons.
Yep.
Because I mean it lit up everything when you were going down the road.
It was graduation day, and me and my friend were getting ready to go to graduation.
Uh-huh.
And my brother had just come home from Vietnam.
Oh.
And him and my dad took off and went somewhere. My mom
Uh-huh.
didn't even know what they were doing. They came, and these two cars pulled up. One was my dad's, and one was another one.
Uh-huh.
And he came in the house and he threw the keys at me and he goes, "You better go wash it before you can drive it." And I just, oh my God. I had a 60, it was root beer brown.
Wow. Yeah, Denise, it was what we called back then a chick magnet. For some reason or another, back then the girls wanted to ride around in a pink car. Didn't matter what style it was pink. And that was the thing. It was a feminine car. Definitely.
And I always used to have the guys say, "Oh, you're driving your big brother's car? Oh, you're driving
Oh,
your big
yeah.
brother's car?" It's like, get out of here. It's
Yeah.
mine.
My brother had a car. He wished, well, he passed away 2 years ago. He had believe it was a 70 Dodge Charger,
Wow.
and it had the package to where it had the front was at a point, almost like the Super Bee had at one time, and
Yep.
it had the fin off the trunk,
Yep.
and the color was uh, like a greenish. It wasn't a lime green. It was a real beautiful green, and oh man, he went into the army and he threw the keys to me and said, "If you dent it, I'm going to dent you." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I knew not to drive that thing." And I went and got my 55 Chevy. Had a 283 bored out. Had a 4-barrel Holly 4-barrel, positive traction rear end. Had electric brake, 3-speed Hurst. And it was a car that got me into too much trouble
Yep. Yep.
because I didn't know not push down hard on the accelerator. Because the tires, they were street tires, but they were more slick than anything. So when you pressed that down on the gas pedal, of course, if I took my finger off the electric brake, it wouldn't have done what it did. It would have just took off fast. But pushing down, and naturally, that's where I learned how to drive a clutch, was with the 55 Chevy. And no, excuse me, I take that back. That wasn't the first car that had a shifter on it. I drove the pickup truck that this farmer had,
Mhm.
and I learned real fast how to drive a 3 on the tree, they called it.
Right. Right. I took
And
my driving test at 17 with a pickup truck, a Ford pickup with 3 on the tree.
yep, man, Fords back then were a dependable truck. And then they made them so the women could go out and buy them a little easier, and made an automatic version. And so, okay, enough about me. Let's get back to you. What was the most exciting thing that you did when you were younger?
Well, I told you we used to water ski every weekend. We belonged
Yep.
to a ski club, and I used to slalom ski, and um, we would go to shows, and my dad would put on a ski show with a friend of ours, like at Lake Merritt in Oakland and stuff like that. And had horses growing up, and I used to ride in the parades up there in that small town
Oh
of
yeah.
Redding.
Yeah. Yeah, I rode horses when I was back in high school and out of high school. I had a quarter horse that was 14 hands high,
Hmm.
and he was definitely a roper. Uh, I I should say he had me roped into things that I didn't want to do because he loved to race cars, and
Oh yeah.
I would have to get a hackmore and put on him uh, to keep him from running away. And I didn't. I'd rather use a straight bit than a hackmore. Hackmores are it to me. Using a hackmore on a horse is not the
I
most
don't like a
pleasant thing.
Hackmore. We used a bit.
Yeah, straight bit. And so, Denise, we're showing our age when we think about things. Now, I don't know. You don't have to show your age, but 74 Nova, that right there is a beautiful. Now, and that was a super sport.
What?
Do you know, Denise? Oh,
Oh,
I'm asking
okay.
Denise.
Oh, Denise. Okay.
Denise, was that a super sport? Oh, you're 59. Okay, well, you're getting up there. And there's nothing wrong with 59 because you have an idea of what it was like back then, and
Yep.
that's not that far away. But
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
My
Uh,
mom and I took my mom to the doctor today, and the craziest thing, we were talking about candy from years ago.
oh yeah.
And my grandma always had a bowl of candy on her dining table.
Uh,
And believe it or not, it was whorehounds. And that's got to be the most god awful.
yes.
And then we
You
were
know,
talking about the root beer barrels. You remember those?
oh yeah. Yep, I remember those. I used to have we used to take the milkshake candy bars and put them in the freezer
Mm-hmm.
and then get them out and take the handle part of a knife, a butter knife, or just a regular knife for spreading butter, and smack them and to get them in smaller pieces so we could put them in our mouths.
And also, too, does anybody remember that it was in a little paper like an envelope, and they were little itty bitty tiny black squares, and kind of like a breath mint, but they were, I think they were black licorice or something. And they were
Oh
itty bitty
gosh,
tiny little black squares.
I don't remember those, but I remember Bit of Honey.
Mm-hmm.
That was always good.
I was telling my mom that when my dad would reach in his pocket and just give me all his change, I always went to the little variety store around the corner, and I'd get the 5-cent Chico stick.
Oh, yep, yep. And then they had what else was it that was good? I was just thinking about it too when you were mentioning. Um, there was, let's see, Abba Zaba.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know the biggest gum company back then was Bazooka Gum.
Right. And also beech nut fruit stripe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fruit stripe gum was good. Dentine used to be popular back then.
Yeah. Do they even still have Dentine? I don't think
I
I've
have not seen Dentine anywhere. Brandon, well, it's about time my mod got here. I'm just kidding, dude. We're talking about back when we were growing up in school, and Sin decided, or I asked her if she would come up and tell some of the things that she remembers, and it's been enjoyable.
And let me tell you one more thing, and then I got to go.
Okay.
I still have my Schwinn bike from when I was 8 years old.
Oh my God. I wish I had my Schwinn Stingray. I
Oh
really
yeah,
do.
yeah. My son got given one of those when he was a kid. That was his first bike, was a Schwinn Stingray. But
Yep.
I've got my. It's like a beach bike with the big fat tires on it and everything.
Oh
I still
my
have
gosh. And those are good for riding on the beach.
that. Yeah, and it was my aunt's before it was given to me.
Oh my gosh. Hang on to it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got it.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, I think it was a pleasure talking to you, and it was
And thank
nice
you for
not having
coming
to
up.
hear all the garbage
I
stuff.
see now it wasn't so bad, was it?
No, I'm fine.
No. And you know what? I would love to have you back up on the panel again. When we come up with a subject that you want to get up and voice your opinion and say some things about old times, and we're going to be talking about the future, how bleak sometimes it looks, but not all the time.
As long as it's not talking about those people, I don't want to be
Yes,
involved.
this and I've said it to MLH. I would rather not go there with this channel because I want to show people on YouTube you don't have to be vindictive all the time.
Exactly.
Talking about people and the things that other people do wrong, because you and I both know life's too short, and it's getting faster as we get. I have a saying now. I don't say older. What I do is I know I'm getting old, so all I do is say er.
Right.
I'm
Right.
getting er. I already know that I'm old. So if I say it's it says it right there.
Well, and
But
it's all good. It's like people look at me and say, "Oh my God, you don't even look like you're 72," and I'm like, "Oh, what's it supposed to look like? I don't even know. Oh my God."
or yeah, or act your age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
what is
but
it
yeah,
supposed to be?
yeah, I've had so many people, when I tell them I do video games, they look at me and go, "Come on, 72. Don't you think you're a little old for that? Act your age." It's
Well,
like,
see, you and I have a lot in
uh
we play Diablo and we play World of Warcraft.
oh yeah, good
Hmm.
games. Good
Uh-huh.
games.
I've beat World of Warcraft several times, and
Oh,
hmm
there was a person that I know that got probably every single Final Fantasy game
hmm
and still plays it.
hmm
And she's young. She is probably in her late 30s,
uh-huh.
and she plays that game constantly. Um, she's a nice kid, and I've talked to her before, and
Well,
but
when we play Diablo now, I go online and look for the special things, the little there's a lot of different things that aren't in the regular game that you have to work for to get into a secret room or to get
oh
secret
yeah,
armor and stuff.
yeah,
And I research all of that. And then we go and do those quests and get the stuff.
yeah. And you know what, Denise? That's exactly what I tell people. When you get what you want to do is there's two things that you want to make sure of: that your dexterity is right where it should be, so you don't trip over your own 2 feet. Plus, when you go to grasp something, your fingers work and you don't have arthritis setting in as fast, because it's a proven fact that if you go idle with your body and don't move, uh, you
You
get
look
atrophy.
atrophy. Yep.
Yep, very easily.
Don't
So
move it, you
keeping,
lose it.
yeah. Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave that one right where you know we won't go any further than that.
Well, I'm
Uh,
just saying your body just doesn't, if you don't use
yeah,
it, you're going to lose
that's
it.
true. Uh,
Hmm.
and then with the mind, with the games now, you have to think. And that is one of the best things for people our age can do, is to keep thinking. And if in those people who say, listen, we don't want to hear about your opinion, well, you know what? We're going to keep thinking despite what you say, because it's going to keep us around rather than to vegetate. And I mean, it's better than sitting in a corner. And I've got nothing against people who like to do recreational substances, as long as they're uh, smart when they do it,
Right.
and they are, what's the word I want to use, Sin? Um, how many times have you done that?
Oh,
Wanted to say a word and you went, I know the word and it's going to come up about 5 minutes from now.
you mean like a day?
Oh, a day.
How
Yeah,
many
that
times
happens
a
too.
day?
Or you're standing in a room and you know there's something in the other room that you want to get, so you walk into the other room and you stand there and go, now what was it that I came in here for?
Right, right. No, I know. I do it all the time, but
Yep.
I just got done making a baby blanket and a baby hat and baby booties for another content creator that's a rancher in
Yep.
Texas.
Yep. Denise, you're not leaving, are you?
But listen, I need to go, and it was
Oh,
good to be here. And
hey, Sin, thank you for coming up on panel. You are uh, my second person that I had up here. No, actually, third. First, it was MLH, naturally, and he was helping me out. And then Brandon, my wonderful mod that I appointed when I first started. And I don't know how you are, Sin, about how often you get on the internet, but
Well, I watch a lot every day. I don't just say, I don't say very much because I don't like people knowing that I'm on.
well, I tell you what, like I said, we've got to have a place where we can go and just talk without people coming on and saying, bad things, because
Right.
there's people, the younger people than us. Listen up closely if you're just listening. There's too much bad stuff in the world to worry about the older folks.
Right. Right.
Worry about what you're going to have to put up with when you get our age, because it's not going to be easy. And
No,
we're talking from experience, right, Sin?
exactly. Exactly. We, and both of us have kind of circled that same block a few times, I
Oh
think,
yeah.
through life.
Yep, we have.
Well, I'm
Okay.
going to go. I don't know how to make it go away. Well, maybe I'll just slide it off the screen.
Yeah, all you got to do is just down in the right-hand corner. I
Yeah.
think you can see. Yeah, just you can go ahead and slide that way. But thank you again, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you. I
Sin for
appreciate
being
it.
up here, and
Appreciate
I enjoyed it. I really did. And we'll probably see you tomorrow.
it. Yeah, well, I'll be around.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Oh, that was great that she came up and did some talking. Um, yeah, Denise, I remember a lot of things. Brandon, I remember a lot of things back then. Yes, I remember that. Uh, that that was something that we did in our spare time to keep our minds busy. And I'll say it. I don't know how many times. If you can keep your mind active, that's what you want to do, because when it goes um, dormant, that's when life is going to catch up real fast, and you don't want it to. You want to keep ahead of that ultimate clock. So yeah, definitely think young and do young, no matter what anybody says, and have respect for those people uh, that are up in age. Um, yeah, studio is a real good, and like you said, Denise, crosswords definitely keep the mind busy. Um, get yourself an animal and have that around all the time, and that'll keep you busy. Uh, you can threaten your grandkids, or threaten your kids by saying, I'll babysit the grandkids, but don't blame me if I give them sweets like a candy bar or whatever. And yeah, so I'm glad that you guys did show up. There's not a whole lot of people watching right now because it's probably not exactly their cup of tea yet. But okay, tell you what, here we are. Brandon, yeah, welcome to the stage, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, glad to see that you're out and about. How's the driving out there?
It's pretty good. I'm down in, where am I at? I don't even know. Hold on, I'll let you know. I'm in Fort Worth.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, I just went. I did like 7 trips, 8 trips since the last time we were live. I've done like 7 or 8 trips
Oh, wow. Wow.
around, and now I'm back in Fort Worth.
Wow. You are a busy individual.
I
And
try.
yeah, well, you have to stay busy until it comes that time that you can retire.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you, it's not easy being retired, especially if you were a white collar worker. Um, you have to put things in perspective when you start uh,
getting to that point, you're going to say, that's it, I'm done. You've got to be able to have all your ducks in a row and say, well, I can spend so much money here and so much money there, uh, you know,
Yeah,
but I'm sure you've thought of that already.
yeah. That's the whole reason I bought the truck that I have. This is my retirement plan.
There
This
you
truck
go.
that I got.
There you go. You ever plan on getting a partner to a co-writer?
Yeah, I've been looking. I've been thinking about getting one, and
Uh-huh.
of course, I got to pay them since I'm what they consider an independent contractor.
Right,
I got
right.
I got to pay them, which would be awesome if I could, but
Uh,
it's kind of hard to find one that actually has somewhat of experience
yeah.
and doesn't mind riding with me in this truck because since I'm a lot bigger than a normal semi, it drives little bit different.
Yes, Denise, he is. She just said, I guess you're a truck driver, Brandon.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely.
Yes, and he's a good driver because he's still out there on the road. The ones that aren't on the well, wait a minute. We had that discussion the last time, wasn't it, Brandon,
Yeah, I
about
think.
drivers being out on the road that shouldn't be out there?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and there's you know, um, yeah, and like I said, you guys are probably the job that you guys do. A lot of people don't realize how much we depend on you guys to haul groceries and furniture and all kinds of things from point A to point B because you can't always rely on the rail to get it to where you want because the rails only uh, run through certain areas. So you've got to have those truck drivers out there to take the products off the trains and take them to the stores and to the grocery stores and everything else that people need to go and get their things from. So
oh yeah.
you guys, my hats off to you, sir, for doing a job well done.
Thank you. And going to the talk about trains, like a lot of people don't realize, like with trains, it takes about 7 days to go from coast to coast with a train.
Uh huh.
With me, I can do it. I can go from I think I told you last time. I went from Fairburn, Georgia, which is just south of Atlanta, Georgia,
Uh huh.
to Gress. I know I'm going to kill this name. Gresham. Gress. It's just north of Portland, Oregon.
Oh, Gresham,
Yeah,
Gresham,
uh,
Oregon. Yeah.
I went there and I did it in 3.5 days.
Wow. That's
And
uh, that's that's very good. Very, very
yeah,
good.
and that's with me driving the legal limit of 11 hours a day. I did
Wow.
that for. I drove 11 hours for 3 days, and then drove like what 6.5 hours to get there. The
Oh,
rest of the
wow.
way,
Wow.
but
Um, yeah, you guys, they don't understand. What was the name of that movie that uh, was it called Black Dog that Patrick Swayze was in?
yeah, part of that movie was actually filmed in my hometown.
Was it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like where I live at. You know that show? I don't know if you remember. It was called Dawson's Creek. It was like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I
that was
remember Dawson's Creek.
yeah, that was filmed in my home. That TV show was filmed in my hometown too.
Oh wow. So you
That
got to see a lot of movie stars?
yeah, we're at one time my hometown was considered uh, Hollywood East because there's so many movies that's been filmed in my hometown.
Wow. I think I can remember only one movie that was ever filmed close to me. It was up in Everett, and that was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
I believe, where they were shooting in a cemetery. I can't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, I think that's. I believe that was some. I could be totally wrong though. I thought it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but
I
if
know.
somebody does know the real name of the movie, please tell me.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of people in here, but and MLH is going, well, you got to get on. You got to get on. So I advertised uh, when I was going to be on, and I did it. I started yesterday. I had it saying that I was going to be on at 4 o'clock today. How did you realize I was going to be on?
I got parked and was checking my notifications.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I just quit driving like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. 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 And I'm sorry to put you on the spot there. I know you had told me that there will be times that you may not be able to make it right when we start or when we have the stream going.
Yeah,
Um,
'cause
but I figured,
sometimes I'll be sleeping in the middle of the day when you're on,
yeah,
or
yeah.
I'll be driving in the middle of the day.
Well, I do want to get on more. I enjoyed Sin coming up and talking about her adventures, and it seemed like I did more of the talking. I should let my
Yeah.
guest that come up on panel do the talking. So with what you've done, I don't know. Did you hear Montana had some real bad weather over there?
I've heard it, but I haven't seen any videos yet.
Uh-huh.
Usually, if there's really bad weather in a certain area, though,
Uh-huh.
some people post videos on a couple of uh, trucker Facebook pages I go on.
Right. Right.
I
Uh,
know about 2 weeks ago, I think a week or two ago, they had almost whiteout conditions on I-80 in Wyoming.
wow. Yeah, and being flat like it is, man, you have nothing to block that wind, and it can really get wicked over there.
Oh yeah, that's the one state I'm more scared of in this whole entire country. I don't mind going down Cabbage there in Oregon, or it's called Dead Man's Pass.
Uh-huh.
But all the truck drivers know it as Cabbage,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'd rather drive that in the middle of winter than go through Wyoming.
really.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I'd rather go through Snoqualmie there in Washington.
Oh, yeah, and that's a heck of a pass to go through too.
Yeah, I'd rather drive that than during when it's snowing than Wyoming, because
Oh,
Wyoming is just a
uh-huh.
it's definitely it's very treacherous.
Yeah, yeah, Denise, that Wisconsin, I remember being there, and when I was up in Sun Prairie, oh my gosh, that would have been back in the early 80s, maybe even late 70s, that they would get some snowstorms. And when I worked for the phone company, they let people go home that weren't out on the road. They brought the trucks in early. They kept us off the poles. I worked as a lineman, and being up on a telephone pole when the snow is blowing and sticking to the pole made it really, really dangerous. Even though you had those spikes, uh, you could gaff out, what they call it, and you would slide down on that ice. And it was, if you're up, 35, 40 feet, it's not a real good feeling being up that high, knowing that if you slid down that pole or if you fell, it's definitely going to be bad for you.
I
But
think
yeah, go ahead.
I remember back in the late '90s. I think it was late. late '90s, early 2000s when my hometown was getting hit by hurricanes every single summer, back to back. We
Yeah.
had some guys from Wisconsin come up, some linemen come down to help with restoring power back to my hometown.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I enjoyed some of the winter, but not all of it, because it would get so cold that the thermostat would ask for a heater, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
that's it. Denise will testify. I mean, it definitely got cold in those states. And the lake, I don't know how close are you to the lake up there, Denise, but I'm sure you might have gotten some of that lake snow effect off the lakes up there. I'm sure she'll write something. We had about record blizzard about 10 years ago uh, at work for a day, but I could make it out. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
I know the first time I ever went to Wisconsin,
Yep.
that
It.
was it was one a massive culture shock to me because I'm a beach baby. I was
Oh, yeah.
born and was at the beach,
Ah, okay.
and being from beach, especially from the southeast,
Uh-huh.
going somewhere where it's brutally cold like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I walked in there. I was wearing shorts and short sleeve shirt. That's all I had at the time.
Uh-huh.
Because I was driving up from Laredo, Texas, and it was in the upper 70s, almost 80,
Yep.
driving up there. And those guys were looking at me like I was some kind of special needs person walking in there. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at them, waiting for someone just to kick me in my no spot because I was so cold.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see that, Denise. That I tell you what, that lake snow effect. People don't understand it until they've been through it. They can truly understand that it is not a good thing, especially if you're driving out there. Um, Now you're going to find this really interesting, uh, Twyla. I was in coming back down I-5, and I was between. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the town that I had to go. I went up I-5, and I had to turn off on a different road. Gosh, I'd have to look at a map even to remember which roads I turned on. But it was snowing so bad. And here I am in my truck. It wasn't an 18 wheeler at that time. I was driving a 6, and it was a 24-foot box on it. And I had the misfortune of running into the back end of a state trooper. Now, what's really interesting is that when I was driving, I was doing 15 miles an hour, and everything was fine until I felt this nudge on the front of my truck, and I seen the car from the side go over toward the ditch. And up to that point, I didn't see anything in front of me, because what had happened, there was a good 5 to 6 inches of snow on the back end of that state trooper's car. No, you couldn't see any red lights. You couldn't see through the windshield or the back window. You couldn't see any lights up on top. I mean, it was snowing so bad. And I ended up putting a female state trooper uh, in the ditch. And what they had said is that she was going way, way too slow without having her lights on because she was doing 5 miles an hour. And I ended up pushing her off the road. When I went to court, and it was funny because she had wrote me a ticket for driving too fast for conditions. Well, when we got into court, the prosecuting attorney said that was a bad day. Everybody knew we shouldn't even have been out on the road. They should have closed down the highways and stuff. And the only thing, and the prosecuting attorney said to me, the only thing that we can cite you for, because she was doing 5 miles an hour and you were doing 15, which both of you were going slower, well over the speed, under the speed limit, I should say. And they said that we're going to have to charge you with failure to sound horn while passing. And I looked at him and I said, I haven't even heard of that one. I said, I've heard of the can't eat ice cream on Sunday, which is really stupid. But I said, to go and say that passing without sounding your horn, and it's still a law, I believe. Denise, you're going to have to check that out for me and see if that still is a law in Wisconsin. But that's what I was charged with. That was the only thing that the prosecuting attorney said that they could charge me with, that they could expunge off of my record within a week. But they had to write something up because it was just the way Wisconsin was back then. They didn't want anybody to get away with anything. So that oh man, I tell you, I was scared when I seen the car because I felt a little bump, and then all of a sudden I seen this thing turn sideways in front of me, and I went, my God, there's a car there. And then I realized with the little sign on the door, it was a state trooper. And I'm going, oh, I am definitely in deep doo now. But I got out of it, and that's all they, learn that storms to make sure and have extra clothes. Oh yeah, definitely you got to have extra clothes, and a couple of blankets isn't going to hurt either. I also had a solar blanket that I would carry with me, even when I was deer hunting. And Denise, you'll have to agree, if you could drive 1 year in Wisconsin, have you ever heard that expression that if you drove in Wisconsin for a year and didn't hit a deer, get a lottery ticket? Because your chances of winning are really, really going to be good if you didn't hit any deer.
I know. My parents told me I need to get a lottery ticket because I went 12 years, or no, I went nine. What was it, 10 and a half years without hitting a deer in a semi.
Oh,
And
you're lucky.
and yeah, I was headed up to Denver one time before I started watching MLH and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And this is several years ago, and I was going up to Denver, coming from Texas, and I didn't just kill the deer.
Uh-huh.
I obliviated that deer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean, I could understand where there would not be much. Those fenders on those trucks are pretty stout, or stout, I should say.
yeah,
And they don't really get. Now, I don't think you've ever hit a pig before, have you?
I've came close down in Laredo, Texas. They have big old wild boar down there, and
Oh yeah,
I'm not talking about your little everyday what
yeah.
you see on TV. These things, they God, those things are huge.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
mean, and very mean.
oh yeah, I almost hit one down there in Laredo. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning going down there, and I lucky enough I had my brights on, and
Wow.
I saw it right before I stopped right before I hit it, but I came close to it.
Huh. Yeah, Denise, when I was driving from Madison, Wisconsin, I would go up the interstate, get past Black River Falls, and then what was the other big town after Black River Falls where you could either go straight or you could turn off to the right? And I'm trying to think of the name of and for the life of me, I can't. I lived there for so long, and I can't think of the name of the town. And I'm sure Denise probably has heard of it. Um, gosh, if somebody tells me what it is, I'll say, yep, that's it. But I tell you what, the nice thing when I would go up taking those Wall Street journals up to Duluth before I became manager of this newspaper company that I was driving for, they had beautiful skies at night with the northern lights. I mean, they were just beautiful. You could go if you were in a spot that didn't have very many trees. Uh, it was really, really enjoyable going up, watching the colors dance across the sky, and going across that bridge, the lift bridge, going from oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Duluth's on one side, and then oh gosh, there's another town I can't think of. I used to go through it all the time, going over to Duluth, but it's right across the pond. They said Eau Claire. That's it. Eau Claire. Yep, 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 yep. That's where
I've actually been to both of those towns.
Eau Claire.
Yeah, in Duluth.
Yeah. Now, what was the town, Denise, that was across from Duluth before you went over the lift bridge? Do you remember? Gosh. Da, 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 da. Gosh, I'll think of it, but right now, my mind, it doesn't want to work right. Oh,
I went to one town. I don't even remember the name of the town, but I know that they have a big place there in Wisconsin
yep.
that's for Polaris.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make Polarises up there, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
6 miles from Canada.
Yeah. Yep.
And I, w- I picked it up back in the middle of March, a load of Polarises, and oh my God, I could not believe that they still had snow on the ground up there.
Yep. Yep. Superior. That's it. Yeah. You had to go through Superior and then go toward Duluth and go across the lift bridge. I remember that lift bridge. There was only one time that it got stuck up at the top, and it would. That's where the boats would come in off the Great Lakes. And there's a guy that has a website that I think he still does it. That he watches all those big coal and feed ships come across, and iron ore and all kinds of ships, and those are the big ships that come across and go underneath that lift bridge. That shows you how high that lift bridge could go up. I mean, it really went up high. But yeah, I believe it is Superior.
And I wonder what happened to everybody else. It seems like there's three of us talking. I know. Oh, Twilight's still in there. Or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, Twyla. But yeah, oh gosh, the old days I remember were really, really good at times. And when you think back about the things that happened to you, you think, my gosh, how did I ever get through it? It's like you driving a truck and seeing how many cars backed up on the freeway, and you're going, "Oh crap, brakes, don't fail me now."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. I don't know if you saw it on my YouTube channel, but I have a picture of me walking around, like filming, like on. I was on the interstate filming the snow and everything.
Yeah.
But I was in New Mexico last November, and I was in New Mexico, and I've never known I-40 to shut down because of snow,
Yeah.
and especially in New Mexico. New Mexico, I have to say, stays on top of their roads,
Yep.
and it was like I got stuck on there for 7.5 hours,
Wow.
and I I made it 50. I made it 50 miles that day. That's all I drove the whole entire day.
Wow. That's not
And
very far.
yeah, and I remember just coming up on the cars that were stopped, and I was just like, "Crap, man! I don't have any chains. I hope these people start moving soon."
Yeah.
No, I was there for 7.5 hours, and finally, I got on the shoulder of the road and found a truck stop like a half a mile down the road, and I just pulled into there.
A lot of people don't realize, Brandon, that just because the big rig has got all those wheels doesn't necessarily make it easy to drive, because you've got more slippage with some of those wheels than other people do with just a front. The best thing that I found out that you can drive in the snow is the front wheel drive.
Yeah.
But now I'm not sure. Maybe is there any companies that make a front wheel drive tractor?
If there is, it hasn't made it to the United States. Um,
Okay, I
it
wonder
it
what's
could
that.
be it could be a European, Asian kind of thing, but I don't know anything here in the United States or in North America, should I say, that has anything like that.
Yeah. Um, I also remember going up through Twin Lakes and Spooner and Hayward up that direction.
Now
Uh,
Spooner's a nice town. I've been through there.
yeah, I knew that the officer that there was three of us that would go up at about the same time. One of the guys that I knew, he ended up having a freak accident. He was in his early 40s, and his mother ended up finding my telephone number in his wallet and called me up and informed me that her son had passed away. And I was shocked. I said, "Did he get into an accident?" And she said, "No. He was at a lake with his family, and he stepped off of a rock that he was standing on that was probably the middle of his chest. And when he stepped off the rock, he went down underwater. And they said that he gasped so hard that it didn't take long for him to drown.
Wow.
But he was out there, and I said, "Well, couldn't he swim to the shore?" And she said, "He never took swimming lessons." And I went, "Oh my God, what kind of person goes out that far
in the water and doesn't know how to swim. It's like, what was he thinking? And the guy, smart guy, really smart, but he stepped off of a rock and went down and drowned. It was
Wow.
really sad. So, yeah, he was a good friend, and we would go up, him and I, and a guy that we called Grizzly. He drove. I think he had a Peterbilt, and I think he was really proud of that one because that had the wooden floor in it, and he really took care of it. And then there was another person that rode with him at times, that hauled milk. Grizzly hauled milk, and this other person, I'm trying to think of his handle, but yeah, it was exciting going up there. Sometimes we'd all be talking, and I heard that one truck driver go, "Oh crap," and he says, "If anybody can hear me, somebody try to get the state patrol out where I'm at." He says, "I just ran over a bear." And we got his location, and we ended up calling the state patrol, and they went out there. That was before cell phones.
Wow.
Can you believe that? Before anybody had cell phones, everyone relied on their CB radio, and we would get on Channel 9 and talk to the bears, because that's where they hung out for most of the time. And I don't know if you remember, Brandon, but when the truck drivers first started, they were on Channel 10. Do you remember that?
I don't remember, but I've heard that that's where they hung out.
Yep. And then they went up to Channel 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, well, friends that I had, we had converted to ham radios that we put in 27 megahertz crystals in so we could get it on the CB frequencies and use illegal radios to transmit on regular CB frequencies, which we weren't supposed to do.
Yeah.
And always worried about Uncle Charlie, who was the FCC, nailing us for running without using our calls. Before, it used to be if you had a CB radio license, before you could even walk out of the store, it was almost like a gun. Before you could take that handgun out of the store, you had to have that gun registered and cleared by the FBI. And the CB radios, if you didn't have a license, a CB license, you couldn't take the radio out of the store because you had to have a call sign. And I still remember mine, believe it or not, KHL 2715. And that is from so many years ago. I'm surprised I still remember that. But then there's things back there I'm going, let's see, now, do I remember who this person was? Nope. But everybody used handles. Very few people, when I first got in it, we used our call sign. But then we started switching over to the handles, they called them.
Yeah.
And what is your handle? What do you go by?
Lumpy, Lumpy.
Okay.
Some friends of mine, right? I used to do underground cable, and they found out that I was quitting the job doing underground cable, and I was going to start driving trucks, and they just started calling me Lumpy,
Yeah.
and and it stuck, and now everywhere I go, that's just what everybody calls me.
Oh, yeah, Denise, that was a very dangerous place to be when the trucks were doing their dump runs, because there were bears that would sit there and wait for these fresh trucks to come in there and dump fresh food.
it got to the point where the bears up north, they were so spoiled, they would just sit there. I mean, people would come in with their trucks and they'd dump the food. And the only time that they really watched the bear is when they had to close up the back end of their truck, because they would have these doors that would open up and push everything out with a hydraulic push rod, and they'd still have to go close down or close everything back up. And that was the only time that it was dangerous for them. But the bear, they were more interested in eating all the stuff that the truck drivers brought them.
I was sitting here going, I just picturing the police going after the guys doing their dump, because that's what we call the police is a bear.
Yeah.
Now
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sitting there
Smokey
going-
Bear.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going,
Yep.
oh my God, I can't. Why are the police eating?
No, she's talking about the black bear. Wisconsin had a lot of black bears. In fact, I think they had more black bears than anything. I don't think we really had grizzlies in Wisconsin. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought it was just mainly black bears. But I tell you what, some of those black bears, and it didn't really matter the size. And Denise, you're going to have to probably agree with this one, since you were there. And I'm not sure. Twyla, were you there also when, or were you in the state of Wisconsin? I'll see if she answers that. But I remember that the black bears, the one thing that you did not want to ever walk between was a mother and her cubs. If the cubs were on one side of you and the mother was on the other side, it was time to get out of there real fast, because a mother bear, I swear to God, they're one of the most dangerous animals to be around if you get in between them and their cubs. I mean, they'll go after a male, which is a lot bigger than a female. Any bear, usually female is smaller. But
Yeah.
I tell you, you get between a mother bear and her cubs, and they will rip you apart.
Yeah, I broke down one time. I forgot what state
Okay,
I was
Twyla.
in,
Yeah.
and I learned very quickly I need to start carrying.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not talking about carrying a baseball bat.
Right.
And even though I have to watch out for what states I can carry in,
Uh-huh.
but the police know, the cops know that we 90% of us carry. So
Right.
they kind of leave us alone. But just because of how everything is going in the world and stuff. But
Oh, yeah.
man, I remember breaking down in, I want to say it was in the Midwest, but I just can't remember what state. And I saw the biggest grizzly, or I don't even know if it was a grizzly. It was just a bear.
Yeah.
And I had to get out to show the mechanic what needed to be fixed. And I told him, I was like, the only way I'm getting out is if I can have my gun on my side.
Well, yeah, it's one thing, if anything, with the gun, if you shoot a bear and you don't kill it, it's just going to make it matter. And a lot of people don't realize that if you do shoot, if you shoot it down at the ground, or you shoot it to where it's going to knock some branches on a bear's head, it's better to do that than to shoot it and piss it off and have it come after you. Because
Yeah.
once they get pissed, they're going to go after you until they grab a hold of you.
Black bears are really weird. They're really dangerous. Oh yeah, I remember that song, Jackie, about the teddy bear. Um, and that was, I'm trying to think of his name that sang it. Um, it was a little boy in a wheelchair, and everybody came by and took him for a ride. Um, you've heard of it, haven't you, Brandon? That song called Teddy Bear?
If I have, I don't remember.
It's a real touching song. The guy talked on the little kid talked on a CB radio and said that his daddy wasn't there anymore, and he would talk to his trucker friends that went by, and the mother had to work and keep all the bills paid and everything while he sat at home talking on the CB radio to all the truckers out there that he could help and direct and get them where they had to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a real Ed. Was it Ed Solvine? Red Solvine? Red Solvine, I think it is. Red Solvine, I believe. Am I wrong with that, Jackie? Is that the song that Red Solvine? Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's something like that. Could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong once or twice in my life, but
Going back about, I can't remember if it was Denise or somebody said that they started carrying extra clothes in their car.
Oh yeah, yep.
This is just from what I've learned in my
Uh-huh.
experiences. What I've learned is always carry at least 3 jugs of water with you,
Yeah.
and and food. Always carry food with you.
Well, the big
Because
thing, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
I know I was just saying, because if the interstate closes, you never know how long you're going
Right.
to be there. It
Well,
could be an
if you
hour,
ever,
or it could be
yeah. Well,
days.
if you ever got down in the ditch and it was late at night, there weren't too many people out on the road. But I tell you what, one thing that could save your life. You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
A candle. You light that candle, it's going to put out heat, and it'll keep you from freezing to death. Because
Yeah.
the thing to do with the candle, which I was told by this old prospector way back, that if you sit with the candle in between your legs, with, if you had one of those that were in the fancy jar that were tall enough that would burn for days, you put that in between your legs, and then you started breathing not directly above it, but you wanted to have that heat going into your lungs, because people don't realize when you freeze to death, yeah, your body starts to get rigid, but you also get the water crystals in on your lungs. And that's where you freeze your lungs and you can't breathe and you end up suffocating.
Yeah.
So, yep. It's definitely a candle, candy bars, something that wouldn't spoil through the whole winter. Have a container that you could take and put snow in and put over the candle so it would melt the snow and make water. One of those solar blankets. I tell you what, I was out deer hunting and there was a snowstorm that went by me when I was way up in Chippewa, not Chippewa Falls. Was it Chippewa Falls, maybe? Yeah. And a buddy of mine, we were not more than 30 feet from each other, and we could hear each other, but there was no way in heck we could see each other because the snow
Yeah.
went so bad. And I had a deer that actually came up and nutted my butt when
with its nose. Fortunately, it was a doe, because if it would have been a buck, I probably would have been skewered, because it didn't see me. That female came up and touched my butt with its nose, and all of a sudden I hear this thing go take off running. It scared the daylights out of me. I didn't even know it was behind me. I didn't even hear it because the snow, it was walking so soft, and nudged my butt. And I was sitting sideways not sideways, but I was parallel or horizontal with the tree. My legs were off completely on one side. So I
Yeah.
was sitting side saddle there. And that doe came up and nudged me with her nose, and I tell you, scary thought. But so how long do you have off now before you have to take off?
I'll probably leave out tomorrow. I'm hoping sometime tomorrow morning. I just don't know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping to go up to Oregon, but I have no idea right now.
Yeah, I thought that's who it was, Denise Red Sovine. And then having the water was essential. But yeah, I remember the Nature Valley with granola bars was what I would have in my trunk. I would probably have, oh gosh, they weren't as big as the ones in Costco, but it was a big carton of them, and I had those tucked away. I had some flares. I had the candles. I had blankets. Gosh. And then I made sure that I had rubber boots, because if you get your feet cold, that's not good. Always had to have a cap in the wintertime that I wore on my head when I was driving, because it came in handy so many times, scooping up snow, or a fishing line would always be good to have, especially if you're in northern Wisconsin, because there were lakes. Having an axe, a small hand axe, was good to keep in your trunk. And the nice thing, what really surprised me, Brandon, is that I just could not stop laughing when I see people who want the traction in their vehicle so they can, so the tires will grip better. And here they have a huge amount of concrete bricks or cement bricks in their trunk.
Yeah.
So when they get stuck, they have those, so they got better traction. Smart idea. But sand worked so much better in bags, because if you got to an icy spot, you could take that sand out and sprinkle it in front of the tires and underneath, and get yourself out of a predicament.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing. What um, I I older drivers, I call them old heads, but they taught me how to use caddy litter and
Yeah,
sprinkle around my tires.
yeah. Kitty just said that too. Yeah, extra wiper fluid would always be good to have. Trying to think what else that I used a lot of. If you could have a good hand warmer, that was always good to have, but sometimes you couldn't. But so if you had those candles that burnt for, 8 to 9 hours, those were very, very valuable to have in your trunk, because you could keep your hands warm if you're inside a vehicle. And like I said, keeps the the vapors in your lungs or the moisture in your lungs from freezing, so you don't suffocate. But, well, I tell you what, people, been on here 2 hours, and I've got some things that I have to do. But I tell you what, you guys, thank you for being here. I really enjoyed Sin coming up and being up here. Jackie, thank you again. Twyla, Lara, Luna, excuse me. Don't have my glasses on. That's what I get. And Denise, thank you for being here. You guys, we'll see if we can get this thing going. I've got 61 subscribers, and yeah, time flies. It does when you're having a good time and you're talking about good things. Time always seems to go fast, and you don't have people, the trolls, coming on saying things about what you're talking about, because it's, there's a place and time for things. And tomorrow I'll be on MLH's chat, and I'll have some songs I've got to look at. That's another reason why I've got to go, because I have to do some music for tomorrow. And see what I have to come up with. We've got lots to talk about tomorrow about someone, which I'm not going to sit here and talk about. But anyway, Brandon, thank you for coming up on stage.
Yeah.
And
Anytime.
hopefully you'll be able to check us out tomorrow.
Yeah, I plan on it. But I do have a good idea for a song, though.
Okay.
Maybe like some Skittles for lipstick.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't said anything about that. But okay, well, people, again, thank you very much for being on the panel. Well, Sin's already gone, but Brandon, next time, if you want to come up here, Jackie or Twyla, you guys can, and get your 2 cents in and talk about things that, we just sit here and just BS and having a good time without all the other stuff that goes with it. So, but I appreciate everybody. Hit that like button. I don't have a drum, but actually I do have 7 likes. So there were people that were in the chat that weren't saying anything, but I do appreciate them. I don't want to try to get big. I'm just doing this to give you guys another place to go to. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys on the chat. You guys, you make the chats. You really do. If it weren't for the people, the people in the chat, it would be nothing. And MLH knows that. No matter what kind of content we bring, if the people aren't happy with what's going on, they're not going to stick around. But I do appreciate you people being here today. And we will definitely see you guys tomorrow on Masterpiece Theater. And Brandon, again, thank you. And
you're welcome.
And everybody, have a great night. And we will see you tomorrow. And thank God it's Friday. Of course, when you're retired, it doesn't matter. All right, everybody. Have a good night. We will catch everybody later.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.